Not everyone may qualify for all the programs that are offered by the universities in the country. And not everyone will certainly have all the qualities or attributes to become a lawyer. That is why we say that there are certain attributes you will see in a person to easily conclude that no, this person, if he or she goes to the law school or goes to the medical school, he will do well. And in this video, we want to guide you to observe these 10 signs. And if you have them in yourself or you see them in your kids, then consider enrolling them for the law school. I am Gordon Selassie Dakbo, and this is Make It Legal. Make it legal. There are many programs being offered by various universities in the country, and one of such programs is the law course program offered by various universities, especially public and private universities in the country. And the decision of whether or not to study the law course program is often a result of many considerations. And I have put together 10 signs that when you see them in yourself or in your children, you should consider enrolling them for the law school. So the decision whether to study law, is a very important decision, because once you start this law course, this law program, it's a lifelong, profession. You would always be a lawyer so long as you have been trained to be a lawyer and called to the bar. Even if you choose to not practice law, you will still be a lawyer anyway. So that is how important it is. So the decision is often one that must be considered with a lot of thoughts and guidance. And I'm going to share with you 10 signs that I think that when you observe them in yourself, then you are probably most certainly cut out for law. But if you don't observe them, chances are that you will not do well as a lawyer or as a law student, and you may just consider not bothering yourself going to the law school. There are 10 of them, and number 10 is my favorite. That is the one you need to know, even if you've listened to all the 1 to 9 signs I'm going to talk about. You must not miss that one for any reason. So be sure to watch the video from now to the end and pick that particular special one, which concludes it all. And as always, if you are here to subscribe to the channel, please do us a favor. You see the subscription button there, click on it and then subscribe to the channel. When you're done, be sure to like this video and do share it with someone so that the person can also get to understand the things that we are talking about on this channel. So if you are ready like I am, let's get started. What is the first sign that when you see it in yourself, or when people tell you that, Charlie, you seem to be like this or like that, you consider going to law school? What is that sign? The first sign is that you enjoy studying by reading to understand and to acquire knowledge. If you are someone who enjoys to study by reading to understand and acquire knowledge, then you have some potential to be a law student, because the subject of law involves a lot of reading and a lot of studying. So this studying we are talking about is not study for mathematical, calculations and what have you, but studying by reading. Are you someone who likes to read novels, motivational books, Christian literature, and what have you? Do you like to read? If it's not a boring thing for you to read, then law wouldn't be boring for you, because law is all about reading. It's a reading course, like we say. So you would read as a law student, you read cases, you read textbooks, you read a lot of reference materials. And I recall when we went to the law school, or the faculty as we call it, the first degree stage, our lecturer who taught us the Ghana legal system told us that as a law student, you are not like every other person. Someone may be doing engineering, someone may be doing architecture and all of that, but you are not like them. You would need extra hours of reading or study to be able to catch up with the course, because it is highly demanding. So the lecturer was clear that when you have one lecture, you need at least minimum of 3 more hours of reading to just understand what has been taught already in class. That is interesting, right? So it means that there'll be a lot of reading, and you need to be someone who reads to understand and who reads to ensure that you acquire knowledge, because that is the law. The law is what you read and is what you understood that you're able to retain in your mind. So it's important. If you have that sign, hey, consider enrolling for law school. But maybe you want to wait and listen to the rest of the signs. Maybe the other signs would probably be the ones that will guide you make the best decision whether you should be a lawyer or not. So what is a second sign that when you have it, or you observe it in some friends or you observe it in your children, you should consider, guiding them to go to the law school and become lawyers. So that second sign is that you are someone who always look out for all the angles of the story. You may hear just one story, but you are concerned about the other side or all the angles of the story. You're not someone who is shallow. You are someone who is deep on facts. You heard that somebody is alleged to have killed another person. And once you heard that, you just did not conclude that, oh, he's done it. It is true he's done it. No. You took time to interrogate the other side. Okay, who witnessed it? Who was there when this incident occurred? The one who is alleged to have killed the victim or the deceased person. What was his intention of doing the act that resulted in death? So you begin to interrogate it further. And once you are someone who thinks and behaves like that, you have the potential to become a lawyer. You'll be a good one, because lawyers have a special way of thinking about facts. They always think about the other side so that they know what to say in response if the other side comes with an argument, so that they can think ahead of the facts and prepare their client's defense. So it's important that if you're someone who thinks about all the angles of a possible story, you are inventing options to see how this can be done in an alternative manner, in a different way, then you are someone who has the potential to be a lawyer. And I would say that you can consider going to the law school, and you may be a good lawyer. The third sign which you need to watch out for, which when you see in yourself, you know that you are sure to do well in the law school, is that you are able to defend and stand for what you believe. That is very important. You should be able to stand by and defend what you believe. If your client tells your story as a lawyer, you are going to believe in the story, and you don't defend what you don't believe in. So if you believe in your client's story, you take up the case, you will stand by the client and defend that. There will be a lot of oppositions. The other side would go all out to ensure that you get defeated, you lose trust in your case, you don't believe in what you are saying. The judge doesn't get the impression that you are right. They'll be attacking everything that your client tells you. And your job is to ensure that you stand by and defend what your client tells you, what you believe in. Of course, doing so in accordance with the law. Now, what that means is that if you're someone who has that ability to be able to stand firmly on your grounds and defend that which you believes in with the facts, not just defending by hitting table or hitting things. No, you're defending by making reference to facts according to this understanding or this concept or this philosophy or this ideology or this book or this author or this occurrence that took place on this date. This is what I think is the point. That is why I come to this conclusion that, you reason out facts, you reason through the things. Once you're someone who does that, it means that you have the potential to be a lawyer. When you choose to go to the law school, you'll do well, because in the law school, the same thing happens. They ask you questions and they expect you to reason through them and stand by the position you believe. If you believe that the person is guilty because of A, B, C, D, they expect you to be able to advance argument that shows that that is true. So if you have that tendency, you're already good to be a lawyer. But if you don't have it, chances are that you will be arguing and someone will tell you that, no, I don't think you are right. What you are saying is not correct. At all is not correct. Then you'll be demoralized, you'll be down, and you'll say, okay, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are right. In fact, that is not how a lawyer should, approach argument or his practice as a lawyer. So you have to stand by and defend what you believe as the case, what you believe as the true state of things, what you believe as the fact as they occurred. You have to stand by and defend that to the very end. Of course, like I keep saying, in accordance with the requirements of the law. So I believe you're enjoying it so far. What do you think is the fourth one? Maybe you should drop it in the comment section. Let me see whether or not you have some other signs that I have not yet spoken about. And I will talk about that with you briefly. But please, as always, if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, you don't want me to be repeating this to you. Why won't you subscribe to the channel? No, you have to subscribe to the channel so that you can keep informed and notified always about our videos, because we are in just for you and to ensure that we get you videos that educate you. So keep subscribed to encourage us to get you more videos. And when you're enjoying these videos, please click on the like button also to like it. And don't forget, as always, share with a friend and let everyone else know what you are getting from Make It Legal channel. Having said that, let's go to the point number 4, which is the fourth sign you see when you consider the options of reading law or some other programs. The fourth sign is that you have the zeal to argue out your points. The zeal to argue out your points. I mean, that is just very important. You know, arguing is presenting your case, your story, what you believe in a very logical manner, and supporting them with facts, evidence, and what have you. So if you have the ability to argue, to make known your case persuasively, and people get to buy it and they accept it, then you really have what it takes to become a lawyer. And I think you can be a lawyer. That is the fourth point. The zeal to argue out your points. I mean, people are there who wouldn't bother to argue. Once you press them a little to sort of defend themselves, they will just give in, or they will just capitulate, as the lawyer will say it, and they will just give in and say, no, what, you are right, it's okay. I mean, imagine a client pays you to defend him in court, and you go to court, the other side said, no, your client is wrong, da 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 da. And then you say, yeah, I think you are right, lawyer. My client possibly was wrong and didn't think through the thing well. I mean, the client did not tell you that he is wrong. So which story have you believed in? Which story of your client have you picked? If that becomes the case, you may not be able to defend your client's position well or interest well in courts. You must have in mind that most often than not, when you go to court, the other side is coming to defend the interest of their client. And you are also there to defend the interest of your client. So if you go merely to capitulate and just give in and surrender, you might not always be able to win. But sometimes, I should emphasize that giving in or surrendering is a way to win for your client. So you must just know which of the options is best for the protection and the securing the interest that your client desires. So it's important to have that in mind. Let's talk about the sign number 5, which is that you demonstrate confidence in speaking up. Very, very important. You speak with a lot of confidence. Of course, not arrogance. Confidence is that expression of what you believe in as true, without having fear for what someone else will say or think about it. So you say your point regardless of what someone else will say about it. Of course, you factor people's views into consideration when you are making your point, so that they don't get to counter it with their opposing argument. So if you have the tendency to speak up boldly with confidence what you believe in, then you should consider becoming a lawyer, and you'll be a good one at that. You shouldn't be someone who is afraid and shy and timid about expressing his views. You don't have that confidence when it comes to talking about what you believe in. You might not probably do well as a lawyer. But I mean, like I said, wait till you listen to the 10th point, where I explain something very important that, really clarifies all these points. And that would also give you a better appreciation of why you may also have a good sign to become a lawyer. So let's talk about point number 6. Point number 6 is that you are a person of good character, integrity, and you have the ability to keep secrets. This is a big one. Lawyers are expected to be persons of good character. As a matter of fact, one of the key requirements to being called to the bar as a lawyer, after you have studied all the criminal law, contract law, commercial law, international law, private international law, and what have you, before you be enrolled, to be called a lawyer in Ghana, you must be a person of good character. A person of good character. And what is good character may vary in many contexts, but it is obvious when you see a good character, you know this is a good character. You're someone who you get drunk and always being seen drunk in town, holding bottles in your armpit and all of that. Obviously, people may presume or may easily conclude that you are not a person of good character, and the law profession may not be ideal for you. Even though you may see a lot of lawyers or some lawyers drinking, they may not drink to that extent so that they become a person of bad character. So if you are a person of good character and you know it, you can become a lawyer. And another important one also is that you should be a person of integrity. You say what you mean and mean what you say. You say the truth as you've been told, and you tell it the way it is. You don't lie. You don't fabricate stories. You don't concoct stories where there is none. You don't manufacture evidence for your client just to ensure that they win their case. If you're someone who is manipulative and cheats and pass through corners, you will not be a good lawyer. And you should not even waste your time going to the law school, because you may not get enrolled and called to the bar, because the bar is for persons of good character, good integrity. And the last one, they have the ability to keep secrets. As a lawyer, when you start working as a lawyer, your clients will come to your office and tell you all kinds of stories. Some of them are deep-seated personal stories and personal challenges. And as a person who is a professional and who will be a custodian of many people's stories and secrets, you are not to let it out just anyhow. Of course, if you have to let it out, it must be in accordance with the law, in accordance with good ethics. That is a big one. So please, if you don't have what it takes to be a person of integrity and a person of good character and a person who can keep secrets, you don't have to bother yourself enrolling for the law school. You might just pass all the exams, but when you get to the stage where you are to be called to the bar, you may not be qualified to be called to the bar. So the legal profession is such that it's highly regulated with a lot of rules and ethical standards are expected to be observed. So if you cannot observe the ethical standards because you are not a person of good character or a person of good behavior or a person of good moral standing in society, then you should not bother to read law. Don't try it. Whether you're from SHS or you are having a degree already as a postgraduate student, you want to go and do it or not, you don't just have to bother if you're not a person of good character. It's very key. If not, you may succeed in getting called to the bar, but your character would let you lose your license in a space of months or years. So that is very important. And I think it's a good sign that you must pay close attention to. The next sign, which is sign number 7, I believe, you are someone who pays attention to detail and you do not easily ignore information or facts. This is a very important one also. If you're someone who easily ignore information, it doesn't matter, don't worry, you make a lot of assumptions, you just draw conclusions without delving into the issues to understand logically what is at stake, you might not be a good lawyer. So you should be able to pay attention to details. What every ordinary person is overlooking, the lawyer would ask questions about it. You said your license expired and you were unable to renew it, and therefore the police shouldn't worry you. But could it be that you made an attempt to renew it before something happens at the DVLA? That was why you could not renew it. Was it entirely your fault that you have not renewed the license? The lawyer would think deeper about the scenario. And when you start practicing as a lawyer, you realize that when people walk into your office and they tell you all their story, all you will do is to ask them plenty questions because you want to understand the details they have overlooked. Some of them are speaking out of emotion. They are just angry with their husband or their wife or their business partner or the person who has breached the agreement. And out of the anger, they say things and overlook certain things. But if you're someone who pay attention to details, you realize that, oh, but did you do this when this happened? Why did you actually do this? What is the motive behind you doing that? Oh, did you consider this option? Was there at some point in time you asked him or her whether this was the reason? Or did you inform him? Was he aware before he took the step? You ask questions to interrogate the whole fact because you are trying to pay attention to every little detail. Now, I'll give you an example of someone who, ignores information or fails to pay attention to details. You're writing an SMS message or WhatsApp message to your wife who is in the country, and you've traveled to Dubai with some work colleagues on official assignment. And while there, of course, you have the right to participate in social activities, recreational activities, and what have you. So in the course of doing all of that, you were excited, you were enjoying and having fun, and you sent a message to your wife on WhatsApp saying that, honey, I'm having so much time here. I wish you were here. When you send that message to your wife, you realize that you ended up saying, I wish you were here, instead of, I wish you were here. It can land you in court for divorce. That is how serious it is, because you were not paying attention to detail, you ignore information, you fail to cross-check the fact, you fail to read it again, you fail to ensure that it sounds logical, You fail to ensure that you are making sense. Once you're someone who doesn't pay attention to detail, and you always fail to cross-check things well and be sure they are correct, some of those mistakes can land in trouble. And as a lawyer, they will land your client's business in trouble. They will land your client's marriage in trouble. They will land a lot of millions of dollars in issue. And if that happens, it affects you as a lawyer, and you may not be a good lawyer. The sign number 8 is that you are someone who enjoys debates. That one is just straightforward. You enjoy debates. When you see two people arguing or debating over facts, you just want to sit down and be listening to them. And when you listen to them, the way they make the argument interesting, and it's like, wow, what you said seems all right, like 100% correct. And the other person also comes in and also make very convincing argument. It all seems like you are also very right. When you enjoy such encounters, debates among people, you certainly would have interest in law. In fact, as a person, what I do sometimes is to listen to parliamentary proceedings, watch them live as they are arguing over issues. You'll see Aponyo Makins arguing over certain issues, and you'll see Honorable Dapamokbo also arguing over issues. So if you are someone who enjoys debates, chances are that you would actually enjoy practicing law too, because a lot of debate happens there. Most of the debates might not be debates orally communicated, but you will do a lot of writing where you present your argument, your case persuasively for others to benefit from. So don't think that it's all about those who can argue in courts. They would have to have these signs. Those who do not even go to court would also have to have some of these signs to sustain the passion to do the job. You must enjoy some debates, because sometimes when you take the law books and you're reading, in your own mind, you must divide yourself into two. One person is for the motion, one person is against the motion, and then you argue that provision, so that if you go to court and the other side comes to say the for the motion, then you are the one who is against the motion, and then you can make the case for your client. That is how it is. So that reasoning and that attitude is a good one for a person who can't be a lawyer. You must enjoy debates. It must not be irritating for you when people are debating. You'll just be angry because they are trying to, debate issues. It's like for you, once people start debating, your heart is just not at peace with it. You want to be out of that place. Then law may not be good for you, because it is all about debate. Yeah, that's how it is. Point number 9, which is the 9th sign that when you see it in yourself or you observe it in your kids or someone else, you can't be sure that they would likely do well as lawyers, is that they are good time managers and better managers of schedules. The legal profession is a profession where you are expected to be diligent and you must be on time. You have a lot of things to schedule. Every lawyer keeps a calendar which they maintain, because you have court appearances, you have meetings, you have conferences. There are places you will go. You have to plan them ahead of time and prepare and be there on time. That is what lawyers do. It's all their work. So if you're not someone who manages your time well, you cannot be a good lawyer. You will always be frustrated, looking stressed. And once you look so stressed like that, chances are that you will not be mentally stable to be able to communicate argument effectively. Remember, communicating your argument and point effectively is part of the legal professional skills. And if you don't have what it takes to speak well and speak effectively, you may not be a good lawyer. Because of that, you don't want time management to be the reason you are stressed out and unable to speak well. So a good time manager and a good manager of schedules is a perfect skill required to be a good lawyer. Now let's speak about the last one, which is very important. And I believe that those of you who have stayed till this point of the video are the ones who benefit from it. And I'm glad you have waited all this while. And I know you are enjoying the video, so why not go ahead and click on the like button to like the video. And when you're done watching, please ensure that you share with someone. So the last point is that if you don't have any of these signs from 1 to 9, you can still become a lawyer. Yeah, it's possible. You can, and I believe that you can actually become anything you want to become if you put your mind to it. If you determine in your heart that you're going to achieve it, nothing will stop you or prevent you. There are stammerers who have become lawyers or who are still lawyers. Of course, this is what you need to know. In the legal profession, you do not only become a lawyer and go to court. You can become a lawyer and sit by your desk in the office and write legal opinions, advise people, and just contribute to the practice of the law by writing or by doing other things. You cannot call it teach. Maybe if you're a stammerer, you may not be able to teach well, but I mean, there are many other things you can do as a lawyer if you are a stammerer and you can't speak fluently, but you have the passion for law, you enjoy debates, you have all the things we spoke about. You can still be a lawyer. And there are people who are lawyers who cannot speak well, but are able to reach a reasonable judgment or conclusion when they hear other people make argument before them. They are intelligent people, but when they hear you make your point or your argument, they understand it so well and they are able to reason and come up with judgments that are very well reasoned and very professional. I mean, you can be a judge, but before you become a judge, you have to be a lawyer. That is why, even though you may not have all the science I spoke about, but you have the ability to study well and you can research well, you can reason well with facts, you have what it takes and the passion is there to become a judge, you can become a lawyer. Then after some time, you become a judge also. I mean, it's possible. Nothing should stop you from becoming a lawyer. You are capable. There are many things people have said about law. Some of us, when we were not yet lawyers, we were discouraged by some of those things. We thought that the only way we could do well as lawyers is to come from a rich home and be, and have parents who are both educated and working and having money, have connections and all of that. But it's not always the case. I personally do not come from such a background. Both parents of mine are not educated. My mom is not educated. My dad was not educated, but I am a lawyer. So don't be limited by what people say about law, about the practice of law and law as a course. You can do it if you put your mind to it. People also say that if you want to become a lawyer, you must come from a rich home. That law is not for the poor. I mean, because of the materials that we have to buy, you have to buy in the law school. Some of them are expensive and all of that. But there is always a way when you are truly, truly determined to get it through. When you are truly, truly determined to become a lawyer, you would always find a way around it and you will become a lawyer. And we'll be here to celebrate you. And I was excited the last time I was in court and I met a young lawyer who met me outside and shouted to me, "Hey, lawyer Godwin Selassie Dapo, thanks for your videos. I've become a lawyer." And I was excited. I said, "Oh, thanks to God. That is how it should be. No limitation exists before you except the one which you create in your mind." If you ever want to become a lawyer, this is the right time to take the step. Don't delay any further. I believe you enjoyed this video. Please do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and please share it across to someone. Let everybody hear the good news from makit.legal. And as always, I am Godwin Selassie Dapo, and this is makit.legal.
Make it legal.